After leaving from villa, you asked Chungha to accompany you back to Kim Mansion. You left without taking your personal car and take taxi to the Kim Mansion. Kim family is one of the rich family in Seoul City, so it located in a high residential area as well. After half an hour, you and Chungha arrived since Mr. Kim had asked you to come. You just can't ignore it and be ungrateful daughter. You looked at the place. You had just been away for 2 months and there is many things that reminds you in this place. How Mrs. Kim doesn't like you and you won. Two brothers who had a good bonding with you was sent abroad. You still remembered how the big brother used to confess his feelings to you. An incident happened 2 years ago. Therefore, he was forced to go to the abroad. You had a mixed feelings, some bitter and sweet. You truly don't know what's wrong and what's right at that time. Maybe if Big Brother really pestered you, then you would have been given into him. But now, when you think about it, you felt so wrong and ashamed having such thoughts, you hated it now. Since then, Mrs. Kim's attitude towards you worsened. She used to say that you are nothing without Kim family. You should be grateful to them for the rest of your lives. Though you never called her mother for once, but you had been respectful to her. But when you were kicked out of, the last drop of kindness you have was disappeared. You don't know how much your mother, they said that your mother left you when you were a child, so it must be because your mother don't like you. You don't remember any of your childhood memories. All you had was Kim family. And now, so on. When you come back, all servants looked at you with concern in their eyes. They always has been good to you, Miss Fine. You slightly smiled at them, nodding your head a little and went to the living room. You should now show how good you have been doing after you left Kim Mansion, especially to Mrs. Kim and Yvonne. You purposely didn't take car given by Jungkook. If it was being checked, then it would bring him some trouble. You can't let people know about your relationship with him. Miss Wine, welcome back. Where have you been these days? Chaesang would be the only person who's so happy of your arrival. I'm fine, uncle. Thank you for asking. He smiled slightly. If you had apologized to the sir and madam, you would have been back to the mansion. You were stubborn. He sighed. I did nothing wrong. Why should I apologize? It's just that Auntie wished me to go away from her family. When it comes to Mrs. Kim, Chaesang couldn't say anything. After all, he worked in this family. In the living room, there was visitors. Mr. Kang with his son. I was told by the media that they did receive an anonymous call. It's Kim Wine that beat my daughter, Mr. Kang said angrily. Although rich families are always against each other, Mr. Kim welcomed and apologized. Mr. Kang respectfully. Kang Songyeon also snorted coldly. They were obviously picking on the Kim family as Kim Group is also developing day by day. Kang and Kim developed cosmetic products and it's obvious that they were against each other. President Kang and Songyeon, please don't be angry. You knew the news about wine 2 months ago. She had been away from Kim Mansion. I had called her. She will be back. If she had hurt Miss Tyrell, I will definitely let her compensate for the loss. Facing the competitors, Mr. Kim had good sense not to offend the visitor. Songyeon laughed and said sarcastically, Miss Wine had an affair and Lee Heeseung had broken the engagement. Everyone knows about it and I thought Mr. Kim must have taught your daughter very well. Mr. Kim was more embarrassed and he's so angry with you. No matter how much my dad taught me, I was nothing compared to Mr. Songyeon. I remembered you were mainly involved in the scandals last year. I wonder how you withdrew the news about you. Sweet voice came in the hall. All turned their head to the source you walked with your friend. Tall and slender, looking charming in knee-length black dress and wolf-cut short hair tied up in ponytail, looking all lovely and beautiful. You looked at the present people with smile on your ruddy face, showing your shallow dimples on your cheeks. Ryan, don't be rude. You still owe Miss Thiol an apology. What were you talking about? Mr. Kim was angry. Mr. Kang looked at you. So, it's Miss Ryan. Songyeon also leaned back and looked at you head to toe. He never expected you to be so outstanding, beautiful girl. It was said that Kim family's elder daughter is most beautiful, but they never saw second daughter as hidden beauty of Kim family. Countless men wanted to see Yvonne's beauty in person, but only few knows that Wine is also generous and charming. It's me. You smiled. That, my friend Changha, she comes with me. Changha bowed her head. Hello, sir. Nice to meet you. Mr. Kim didn't pay attention and directly asked, now you are back. Tell Mr. Kang and Soyoung whether you have attacked Miss Thiel in that restaurant. Songyeon raised his hand and pointed himself teasingly. You should apologize to me first. What you said just now could be taken as slandering. You had better be careful with your words, or else I will let my lawyer do his job. Hearing his arrogance, you sneered. Go ahead, we will see. You give him full warning, cold gaze, like you are telling him to take his dirty gaze off you, or he will regret it. Seeing your attitude, Mr. Kim was embarrassed and Mr. Kang was dissatisfied. Mr. Kim, I'm not satisfied with her attitude. Why? And Mr. Kim gritted his teeth. He slandered me first. You sat down with your friend. Why did you call me back today, Dad? Mr. Kang wanted to know if you hurt Miss Thiel that day. No, you denied it directly. No, I didn't went to that restaurant that day. Do you think we will buy it? The priest has told me that you beat my daughter, and she had been upset. She also told that you had quarreled with her at Fun Park, didn't you? Thiel is only daughter of Mr. Kang's, and he had regarded her as the apple of his eyes. He even named some brand in her name, even though you didn't plan to admit it. Believe it or not, I haven't been there. Why are you laying wine? A soft voice came in the hall. I saw you in person when I was with Miss Thiel for dinner that day at restaurant. You didn't even have to turn around to know Evil's voice. Her voice is sweet and soft that would bring every man shivers. Sunyoon couldn't resist the charm of Kim family's daughters. His eyes lit up with desires. He was really surprised. He had seen Yewon in commercial news and pictures. She is really beautiful in person too. You sound ruddy while Yewon's voice have mature. Hello, Mr. Yewon. Nice to meet you. You're really beautiful in person. Songyun couldn't wait to flatter her. Yewon looks like a flower without any harm, while you're more like a thorny rose that stabbed people without noticing if they don't be careful. Yewon enjoyed the man's amazement at her. She smiled sweetly and walked with her good figure, wearing pencil skirt and crop blouse with blazer, with her high heels, and sat down beside Mr. Kim. The makeup on her face made her look more dazzling. Hello, President Kang and Mr. Sungnon. Nice to meet you. She bowed her head. Mr. Kim felt proud of his eldest daughter. You sneered. The type of person only know how to show off. You really didn't have any interest and wanted to go out as soon as possible. Let's solve it all. Onji, you said you saw me at that restaurant. Do you have any evidence? such photos to prove it. There was a trace of unhappiness on Yvonne's eyes because of not able to display on the socializing though. She hid it carefully and smiled. I indeed saw you with a man. I had no time to take a photo of you. You narrowed your eyes. Did she saw who the man was? Seeing you sitting there silently, she intentionally mentioned again. By the way, who the gentleman with you at that time? It's known that the restaurant is luxurious and after a meal, people like to stay in the hotel room. I wonder why you were there. Her sarcasm was obvious. Mr. Kim gave you a murderous kiss. Why? Was it true? We were there for dinner, he said without hesitation. Besides, I'm grown up now. It's not a big deal. If I stay in the hotel room with a man, I can be responsible for my legal decision. Umji, I have no idea why you brought this matter up. It's natural for me to fall in love. Can I take it as you being jealous of me? Yvonne's face changed. I'm jealous. Don't take yourself so seriously after Mr. Lee cancelled the engagement and accused you for cheating. You still talk about falling in love? Really, it's my business. Why you care so much about it? You said coldly. Was she taking advantage of the situation to stir the problem for you? You had an affair and your engagement with Mr. Lee was cancelled. And now you had been seen with Jungkook outside the EBC One Park. And now you admitted having been in the hotel with men. She tried so hard to tell that you were shameless. You were ruining Kim family's reputation being so loose, though you have left the Kim mansion. Since you are the daughter of this family, then shouldn't you act properly? It's like two girls fighting for certain things. When outsiders will see this, they will eventually thought that you both are not sisters, but more it looked like fighting for it's none of your business, it's my life. I can decide whatever I want. I have already left the Kim family. Mr. Kim was furious. Would you like to stop, both of you? Get down to business. Don't beat around the bush. We should figure out what caused Miss Thy's injury. Why you should apologize. Since you are accused by the media and Miss Thyl, you can't fool around. It was said that even though you have someone's help to mislead the news, Thyl and Yvonne's words is strong enough to suspect you, but nothing is trustworthy. Without evidence, you would not admit it. No matter what, you clearly told them that this matter have nothing to do with you. It's just that anonymous call claim it as framing you. No one believe it since you made lame argument on it. But either way, you give them a final results. It's a problem whether they believe it or not. You won't pay attention on it anymore. Your words was to indicate that you won't have something to do with it. Mr. Kang and Songyeon was also confused but looked serious. Dad, I see her at restaurant that time, but he didn't said anything cause she is my sister. I wouldn't do such a thing as to call the media. Yvonne took Mr. Kim's hand and said like spoiled child who was accused doing something wrong. You just roll your eyes. She never treated you like one though. Stop your so-called overacting. You've always been trying to kick me out of Kim family. Did you ever treated me as your own sister? He questioned directly. Umji, it's you who called the media to stir the trouble for me, right? Dad, I didn't. She was angry and her face color changed. I didn't call the media. I was busy these days with my new products, and recently I have been with Heeseung. All there, President looked at Yvonne seriously. You clapped your hands and laughed. It turned out that you and Heeseung were together. What a coincidence! Not long after my engagement was called off, you both couldn't wait to be together. Since I saw you both kissing in the hotel room that night. Finally, it's your score, and Yvonne didn't expect that. Cat was out of bed. She didn't thought before talking it. Kim and Lee families didn't announce their engagement that was going to held soon, but when Jaewon mentioned Heeseung's name, from this angle, it looked like elder sister approached younger sister's boyfriend and they cheated on you. Isn't it pointing that elder sister had a secret affair with younger sister's fiance? That is most immoral thing. Dad, it's not true. I and Heeseung are just friends since middle school. You scoffed like you don't know her intention on your boyfriend beforehand. I'm sorry, Dad, I have to do my own good. You glanced at your wand coldly. I couldn't just come back to insulted by people and be framed for the second time. I gotta go now. Chanmi, let's go. Jaewon panicked. Why? You are talking nonsense. I'm not the reason of your engagement cancellation. You can explain it with his song to the public. You smiled sarcastically and walked away with your friend. Mr. Kim was so angry and Jaewon's face was pale. Both present guests was even dissatisfied and immediately stood up shouting, Stop wine, you haven't explained my daughter's accident clearly. You stopped but didn't turn around. If Miss Thyle is hurt, you had better call the police to investigate and I have nothing to explain about it. You are a little decisive person. If someone dared to stop you with me, then the matter of Yvonne and his song will be exposed. You walked out of Kim Mansion and found that taxi was long gone, but two cars was parked outside the gate of Kim Mansion, and handsome man get out of the car expressionlessly. Jimin, you were shocked. Mrs. Ryan, please get in the car with your friend. You quickly pulled Chungha to sit in the back of car. Is it a general manager from Hype? Chungha's eyes go wide. She had been sending many emails to take interview but couldn't reach. She couldn't believe that he personally came to pick up Mr. Kim and Mr. Kang with Songyeon and Yewon walked out. Seeing that, Hype manager was out of the Kim mansion for the first time. Me, I asked you, what are you doing here? Trying to involve in Kim family's matter? Mr. Kim was kind of polite person on surface. It doesn't make sense, right? But since she's working for the Hybe Enterprise now, I can't let Kim family harm the employee of Hybe Enterprise. Jimin said coldly. Mr. Kim was shocked and other as well. What do you mean? The Hybe Enterprise hired Ryan? You are only 18 years old, and what kind of job you will get? The person who haven't completed her high school. This is our decision, please excuse me. Jimin pushed his glasses up to his nose and walked to drive the car, and two cars drove away from Kim Mansion. No one could catch up but wonder, why did Hybe Enterprise hire you? 2 years ago, what had happened is still unforgettable. Such an embarrassing thing. On the birthday of Kim family's second son, the news like that you try to propose your stepbrother and the gossip about you and your stepbrother was almost all over internet, even if it's only for days. And Kim family tried to surface it. That's why Mrs. Kim always wanted to get rid of you. She couldn't tolerate that Mr. Kim have such a daughter. That was the one of case that Kim family forced to send their beloved to sons to abroad, and Jaewon's hatred towards you had been ingrained deep in her heart. Since your arrival in this family when you were 7 years old and Mr. Kim brought you back to Kim Mansion. After that, Mr. Kim gave you the best education. Kim groups share and took care of you. Not only this, but even supported your relationship with his son. That made Jaewon envious of you because she liked his son since childhood and they were classmates. But when Jaewon's health was not so good and you used to send her meds and lunch during that period of times you met his son, he fell in love with you. Witnessing all of this, Yvonne began to hate you from the bottom of her heart. How could a merely illegitimate daughter enjoy everything equally as her? Everything that Kim family has belongs to her, and even the Heeseung is her man. She fell in love with him before you, so how could she let you snatch the man she wanted to have? Sir, please stop the car aside. I will take a taxi to go home. Changha said after talking with you about how to deal and write articles on it. If they dare to take action on anything that goes against you, she even mysteriously looked at you and Jimin. Why do you want to take a taxi? You pouted. She winked. Come on, you have a handsome husband. Shouldn't I give you to some privacy? You trembled slightly. What do you mean? Did she misunderstood something? Car stopped to the side and Changha quickly bid goodbye to you. Miss Wine, Jimin called you. Did you tell your friend about President John?